Rabbi Ben Baghdad had a double name, cause his last name was the same, but I never heard him brag. So here's a little song, it's kinda like a tribute. I hope you don't think that it's too cute, and I hope you sing along. You gotta turn it, turn it, turn it again, turn it around your mind. Turn it, turn it, turn it again. You never know what secrets you might find. Here's a little song for Rabbi Ben Baghdad. There was always more to learn. Torah he would turn, all the night and all the day. And when the other rabbis went to bed cause they were done, back stayed late cause it was fun. And he turned to them and said, you gotta turn it, turn it, turn it again, turn it around your mind. Turn it, turn it, turn it again. You never know what secrets you might find. Hey, brother. Rabbi Ben Baghdad, the Torah was the be-all, it also was the end-all, and not a word was wrong. So thank you, Ben Baghdad, for your cool and busy quote. It's the best in Pirkei Avot, and now it's in a song. You gotta turn it, turn it, turn it again, turn it around. Turn it, turn it, turn it again, turn it around in your mind. Turn it, turn it, turn it again. You never know what secrets you might find. Turn it, turn it, turn it again. Turn it, turn it, turn it again. You got to turn it, turn it, turn it again.
We're so fortunate. Next, we'd like to introduce to you a teacher of mine and a really great guide, Rabbi Sean Zevitt, with a piece that has emerged from his work with the Aleph Hashpa'ah program.
So, Chevra, the invitation. Take a moment and just open to receive the blessing you most want, the place you most want God to flow over and through you. The offering that has came out one day from the peer group Hashpa'ah that I'm blessed to be part of, and combined with words that came out of the last conversation I had with Reb Zalman, Zichrono Livracha, while he was still incarnate in the form he came into with this wife. God moving beyond God. all things are impermanent, all things wash away, even the state we're in, and the world this way, and the world this way. Oh love, come my way. Oh love, bring me home. Oh love, come my way. You're not alone, Chevra. You're not alone. All things have their place, all things come undone, even the place we're in. Nothing's new and all is new under the sun. Nothing's new, all is new under the sun. Oh love, come my way. Oh love, bring me home. Oh love, come my way. We're not alone. We're not alone. Powerful source of our life, to you I offer my gratitude and my grief, my anger, my breath too. You life force longing for a purposeful life, impelling me on with the losses and the beauty combined. You rush through me and live in and beyond me. Even our imagining you is you, and our imaginations are scuttling around on this wondrous planet for morsels of meaning and place and position. I praise your names that we have created to witness the soul hunger that calls us to do what we do and calls us to reveal you. I'm not done with you, though it's ever harder to feel you in the in-between times when isolated and struggling miscarriages of selves piled up in my heart. I need to have myself composted now and then. Oh, my heartbeat, still my God and my salvation, without whom my disbelief would not have a home to be housed in. Ava, Ava, Rava, sing with me. Ava, Ava, Rava. All things are impermanent, all things pass away, even this place we're in, and the world this way, and this precious, precious day. Oh love, come our way. Oh love, bring us home. Oh, love, come our way. Oh, love, bring us home.
Thank you. Well, for a little shift in energy, I'd like to introduce someone who has a rainbow on her head all the time. Rabbi Chava Bailey, hailing from Suttons Bay, Michigan, where no Jew has gone before, able to eat a disc of lutefisk in a single bracha, and most frighteningly, your Ohalah board secretary. Oh, and she's got audio-visual aids, it looks like. Can I help?
It's the Trinity.
What's that? I want it all my way. Bravo!
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 50 bucks.
That's very funny. So friends, because this week has been about deep ecumenism, it is a privilege and an honor to invite our colleague Reverend Steve to come and join me to assist with the opening of this moment. So Steve, would you come and join me? So may I invite you to please rise as body and spirit will allow. So we can begin with a little bit of movement, because you've been sitting a long time. So one of the things you may not know about our colleague, Reverend Steve, is that among his many talents, he is a teacher of Tai Chi. And he and I put our heads together and decided that it would be helpful and important to introduce to you some Jewish Tai Chi. Okay? So let's just start with a breath and exhale and oi. Oi. One more time. Oi. So, the first move in Jewish Tai Chi is this. Okay, so do that with us. That is called Bubala You Should Eat. The second move then draws the energy into the body, bringing the energy from there into the body. That is called Uncle Morty Grabs His Pancreas. And the final move of Jewish Tai Chi, it's a little bit complicated, is this. And that move is called Oi. If you'd been a doctor instead of a rabbi, you could have helped Uncle Morty. Tai Chi is a wonderful part of many of our practices, and I have to tell you, before I get into some formal stuff, I got kicked out of a gym at home. This is not a joke. I was asked not to do any more group fitness classes because in aerobics I was harming others. So I kind of learned to be careful about how I behave. And every time I come in this room, I sit over there by the door. You know, I kind of like it over there. That's sort of my regular seat. And then I realize every time we do the Amidah, I'm at the front of the aerobics class again. Next year, I'm claiming a place over there. So friends, how many of you saw the article about the $99 fares to Europe? Pretty cool. $99 fares on WOW Airlines. Now, I want to let you know, I flew here on an airline you may have heard of. As you know, I come from rural northern Michigan. My husband is a Scandinavian Lutheran, and I come from the land of Garrison Keillor, and I flew here on Lutheran Airlines. And how amazing was it to hear the announcement when I got on the plane? And this is sort of what it sounded like. Now we're pleased to announce that the Lutheran Air is now flying to Wisconsin, northern Michigan, north and South Dakota, and occasionally Colorado. If you're traveling soon, consider Lutheran Air, the no-frills airline where flying is an uplifting experience. Now all the meals on Lutheran Air are potluck, so rows 1 through 6, please bring some rolls, and 7 to 15, bring a salad, and 16 to 20 on a hot dish, and 23 to 30 a dessert. Now, basses and tenors, please sit in the rear of the aircraft. All fares are by Swivl offering, and we're not going to land the plane till we make the budget. Now, pay attention, because your flight attendant is going to acquaint you with the safety features on Lutheran Air. Now, listen up, because she's only going to say this once. In the event of a sudden loss of cabin pressure, I'm frankly going to be real surprised, and so will Captain Olson, because we fly right around 2,000 feet. So a loss of cabin pressure is probably going to mean something like the second coming or something of that nature. So I really wouldn't bother with those little cups and the tubes, because you can just put those right back up in the holes. Now, in the event of a louder landing, I'd say forget it. Start saying the Lord's Prayer and just hope you get to that part about forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. But some people say trespass, which isn't right, but what can you do? Now, we start lunch right around noon, and it's buffet style with the coffee pot up front. Then we're going to have a hymn sing. Hymnals need to go back into seat pockets. Don't take them with you, I'm gonna be real mad, and I'm not kidding. So now we'll say grace. Come, Lord, be our guest, and bless these gifts. Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, may we land in Denver or pretty close. I was incredibly relieved when we finally landed. You know, for me, the Denver airport's totally overwhelming. I come from a town of just under 500 people, and because my husband's family, Carl's family's been there since 1850, we are related to almost everyone in Suttons Bay. Now, the town is so small that our entire county has no stoplights at all. This is not a joke. We have no stoplights in our entire county. What we have instead is something called Rush Minute, where at the four-way stop, everybody pulls up at the same time, and because everyone is Scandinavian and Lutheran, everybody's so polite, they're going, after you, no, after you, and that takes about a minute or so. Now, Carl's Scandinavian Lutheran and I, Ashkenazi Jewish, for us, being intercultural has only been a source of great joy and a lot of fun, but we have noticed some important differences. Now, Carl's family, they never talk. My people never shut up, which works well. We say goodbye and never leave. His people leave without ever saying goodbye. The day we got married, my brother-in-law, Chris, was hanging out with us a little bit, and I said, so Chris, how you doing? And he said, you know what the problem with your questions is, Hava? Before you know it, you're answering them, and you're in a conversation. And a couple of his brothers were going ice fishing out on Lake Michigan, which is a big thing where we live, and they were going for, you know, a whole day, and at the beginning of the day, Chris said, pretty cold. And they sat for a couple hours, and then his brother Rich said, yeah, kind of chilly. They sat for a couple more hours, and Carl said, listen, if you guys are going to talk the whole day, I am out of here. So Carl's family founded the Lutheran church that is next door to our house. And in fact, our house was the rectory for that church. It's kind of a wonderful irony. So they founded the church next door, but he has never stepped foot in it because his family left that church in 1880 to found what is now the ELCA church 2 blocks on the other side of our house. Because, pardon?
What does that stand for?
ELCA, Evangelical Lutheran Church of America. It's the more liberal of the Lutherans because the women in the old church were doing all the work and didn't have a right to vote. So his family left the church, and the summer before we got married, I was out jogging, so you can tell it was a while ago. I was out jogging, and I ran into the minister from next door, who was literally from Mankato, Minnesota, and right out of Central Casting. And so he says, so you're marrying Carl Bailey there? And I said, yeah, I am. He said, you know, his family left his church. I'm like, dude, it was 110 years ago. At some point, you were going to have to let this go. So many of you know, and I will leave you with these last thoughts. As you probably know, I am, what, don't leave? I'll get to it. This is your brain on drugs. Okay, so, it's not good. So, as you know, I am the senior spiritual leader for a Unitarian Universalist congregation. I am their rabbi, and I'm trying to get them to be a little bit more forthright about talking about what Unitarian Universalism means in the community. So they came up with a plan to go door to door and knock for no reason. I mentioned this idea to Carl, and he got the idea of founding something he wanted to call the Lutheran Defense League. And I said, oh my gosh, what's that? Because of course I know about the Jewish Defense League, and he said, well, what we would do is go and stand on your porch and just bore you to death. But work at the UU has been very exciting. We are growing very, very rapidly in my new congregation, and I like visiting the kids in the Sunday school. And the other day I went in and the kids were drawing, and one of them was drawing, and I said, oh, what's that? And she said, it's a picture of God. And I said, wow, that's really beautiful, but you know, we don't really know what God looks like. And she said, we will when I'm done. And then she said, you know what, Rabbi Chava, I love you so much that when I grow up, I'm going to give you all my money. And I said, that is so sweet. Why would you do that, sweetie pie? And she said, because my daddy said you're the poorest rabbi he's ever seen. But we have grown a lot. We've grown a lot. Our parking lot is quite full, and like other places, we have little bumper sticker sayings, and ours say, honk if you're not sure. So friends, not a lot happens where we live. It's really a very small town, but it's really lovely. And I just want to let you know, and then I'll close with this, that you're all so bright, and so much of my work feels derivative. I have decided to start working on my very first book, and I'm really excited about it. I sent it off to a publisher, and they were not delighted. The book is called 50 Shades of Oi. And I said, why do you not think this is a great idea? And she said, because nobody is going to sit down and read a book where every other line is, I'm going to give you such a pachentuchas. Didn't work so well. So they rejected the book. So, friends, before I go, I want to end on a serious note. This is very important. Because there's been a lot of confusion since we've been here about this phrase, deep ecumenism. And I've heard it mispronounced. So I want to just go over how this is supposed to work. Okay. So it is not deep ecumenism. All right, that's one way I've heard it mispronounced. Somebody said D-pack humanism? What? It is not Deepak humanism. But you might consider that it is, in fact, deep act humanism. Friends, thank you.
Stand is all right. What else do you need? You're standing. Okay. And we have, thank you, Rabbi Chava. Little bird, little Chavala. She says, why do you sing that song? It's about the one who left. In the amazing cross currents of talent in our chevra, Rabbi Rebecca Kushner, Tasha John Keatle, they are going to play, I can't even pronounce the composer, François Couperin.
It was about the same time as the Baal Shem Tov, but I do not believe the Baal Shem had ever heard of François Couperin.
Okay. Duo for flute and cello. Yes, thank you. And they are friends and musical partners since childhood.
We started talking in first grade and they haven't got us to shut up yet. Second and last piece is called Chanson Légère, and it was at the time when even the men danced in high heels.
Okay, so do you need a guitar mic too? I'll bring this over to you. Well, you know the phrase that these people need no introduction. Rabbi Diane Elliott, Rabbi Yitzhak Tankin, and I will just say that we three were a committee, a subcommittee of the General Planning Committee, and we organized the musical interludes that took place during the days in the hallway. Working it through and thinking it through, and people stepped forward. We have such a talented Hebra. So I'm not going to say another word and just welcome these two wonderful, talented folks.
So we're going to share a piece that was written by Reb Aryeh Hirschfield, Zichrono Livracha, that is very special. It's from Psalm 139, which is a psalm that Reb Zalman Alav Shalom asked his Talmidim to study in the last year of his journey. There was a message that went out to study Psalm 139, and Reb Zalman had told me how special he felt about Reb Aryeh's rendition of this psalm. So to give kavod to both these beautiful teachers, brother, and sources of great wisdom and spirit.
This is how we translated these verses. Where can I go from your spirit? And where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, there you are. And if I descend to hell, behold, you. Were I to rise on wings of dawn, if I dwelt beyond the sea, there also your hand would guide me. Your right hand would grasp me. If I would say, surely darkness will enshadow me, then night would become as light around me. Even darkness will not conceal me from you, and night shines like the day. Darkness and light are the same.
שק שמיים שמעת ויציע שאול, הנה קר ויציע שאול, הנה קר. אשא כנפי שחר אשכנה, באחרית ים גם שם ידך, תנחני ותאחזני ימינך. החושך ישופני לילה, אור בעדני אור בעדני, גם חושך לא יחשיך ממך. ולילה כיום יאיר, כחשיכה כאורה, כחשיכה כאורה. אנא אלך מרוחך, ואנא מפניך אברח. אנא אלך מרוחך, ואנא מפניך אברח. החושך ישופני ולילה, אור בעדני, אור בעדני. גם חושך לא יחשיך ממך, ולילה כיום יאיר, כחשיכה כאורה, כחשיכה כאורה. אנא אלך מרוחך, ואנא מפניך אברח. אנא אלך מרוחך, ואנא מפניך
And then Danny, okay, so here's a Texas connection. Janice Rubin, who I was remembering I have known for 30 years. We met in 1985. And I just met today Rabbi Dan Gordon. They both live in Houston. And Rabbi Dan was telling me he's the rabbi at Congregation Beth Torah in Humble. You have to be from Texas to know it's pronounced Humble and not Humble. And these two were considering how many people experience transformative moments at the time of death and funeral of a loved one. This is an acharei mot transformation, all in 5 minutes.
The 10-minute story is in writing, but this has been reduced. Acharei mot kedoshim emor. After death, it was said he was holy. My cousin Bruce is the only Baal Teshuvah in our family. And so when he called me to tell me that his father, George, didn't have long to live, and asked me if I would accept the honor of officiating the funeral, I was a little bit surprised. I said, you know, Bruce, I don't have an Orthodox practice, And he said, "That's okay, you know my dad. And that'll make it personal." Yeah, it'll make it personal. I was also a little surprised that his siblings had empowered him to make the arrangements, because there had been a rift in the family ever since Bruce had boycotted his brother Paul's wedding for marrying a non-Jewish woman. And so there was a little bit of tension, and the thing was, I was using this orthodoxy as an excuse because I was hoping that I wouldn't be able to be there at the time, because I never liked my Uncle George. To me, he was the Jewish Archie Bunker. The white hair, the white shirt, the white socks, and the white attitude. He threw around words like schwarze and shiksa, which never made me comfortable. He kept a strictly kosher home, but ate bacon at restaurants. And when he came to our house, which was less strictly kosher, but we would sit down and say hamotzi together, he'd say, "What are you doing, blessing tray for food?" And so I sort of kept my distance from Uncle George. He'd been a widow for a long time. He had been married to my father's sister, so I didn't even want to claim him as a real relative. My most memorable experience with Uncle George was when he wanted me to go into business with him. Luxury furs are coming back, Danny, I'm telling you. People want furs again. But if I let you go into business with me, first thing is, the whiskers gotta go. So to sell fur, I declined. Several years later, when George died, sadly, I was available. I was able to get a flight in December to frigid Pittsburgh, and I didn't have time to sit down and meet with anybody to discuss the eulogy, and so rushing through and buying a new suit and going to the airport and driving, I spent the entire time with the earpiece on my cell phone, talking to my cousins and my brothers and my parents. And as we were talking and I was trying to settle within myself, how am I going to be able to honor a man that I never liked? The stories that my cousins and my brothers and my parents were telling me started to make some of those annoyances endearing. But the one thing, the most significant thing, came from his non-Jewish daughter-in-law, who eventually had been the one who would pick him up at his assisted living every day to bring him home to watch his grandchildren do their homework. And she said, whenever he called me, he said, "How's Ann?" No one ever says to me, "How's Ann?" And I thought for a second, and I realized that whenever he called me, he said, "How's Danny?" Never, "How are you?" How are you? That anonymous question that we give the bank teller or the stranger on the street. But when he talked to you, he thought about you. Even when he wanted me to go into that business I didn't want to go into, he touched my face. He was connected. And by the time it came for me to write the eulogy, those annoyances became endearing. Acharemot kedoshim more. It was said he was holy. And then the hour-long drive from the funeral home to the cemetery, through the wintry snow. We gave the burial. And my minchag, especially on a cold, -7-degree day, is to cover the casket with one layer of earth. But Bruce, in his Orthodox tradition, insisted that the entire grave be filled. His siblings stood around, shivering. The children were complaining. And the daughter-in-law said to her husband, "How long are we going to just stand here and freeze?" And her husband said, "I'm not going to just stand here any longer." And he picked up a shovel and went to help his brother. And a minute later, his other siblings joined him. And before long, George's grave was filled with earth. George, Uncle George, my Uncle George, had been properly put to rest by his children. Aharemot Kadoshime Mor. After death, it is said, he was holy.
Nishanta v'shemen roshi, Nishanta v'shemen roshi, Nishanta v'shemen roshi, kosi revaya, achtov v'chesed, Yirdefuni koyem bechayai, v'shavti b'beit Adonai, v'shavti b'beit Adonai, le'orech yamim.
Music stand?
You may have noticed there's been lots of guitars. And so we're trying to make it so eventually we'll have lots of pianos.
So. No, you don't. You're just thinking about this one. This will be good. And then there was Eve.
We're almost there.
I've never had an easy time with these things. They go up, they go down, they whack you. This very kind gentleman got the sheet music last night and just prepared like that. And we've never sung or played together before, so I'm very grateful to you.
I should have introduced Alan Beckman, who's an Aleph rabbinic student from Salt Lake City, Utah.
It's time we had a Gentile student.
I'm sorry you told me that.
Oh no, we gotta get another pianist. Okay.
It's like there are three other beings.
That's your choir.
Once I lived the life of a million. No. That wasn't what I planned to sing. Oh, right.
So, you know, that we could have done. But we're not going to do that. Okay. So back to the regularly featured tune.
the way you wear your hat, the way you sip your tea, the memory of all that. No, no, they can't take that away from me. The way your smile just beams, the way you sing off key, the way you haunt my dreams. No, no, they can't take that away from me. We may never, never meet again on the bumpy road to love, but I'll always, always have the memory of the way you hold your knife, the way we danced till 3, the way you changed my life. No, they can't take that away from me. No, they can't take that. The way you hold your knife, the way you dance till 3, the way you changed my life. No, no, they can't take that away from me. No, they can't take that away. No, they can't take that away. No, they can't take that away from me.
I guess I'll stay up here.
Yes.
And my friend Brett Bowen's going to be on Darbuka, or Doonbeck, coming up here. He broke his ankle, so we will. No, he somewhere right up here. Yeah, go up here.
So are you, wow, that's, we wish you were Schlittmann. So we have one more song from Alan and his buddy, and then we're going to be welcoming the man. And lots of people are going to be singing along with Rib Jack. Do you want to just come around?
Yeah, just come out front.
Just grab that chair.
Okay, so a little song about Miriam. There's not a lot in the scriptures about Miriam, as you may know. But what is there is important. And I had a search that started on the Chabad website. You know, when the Chabad website sends something really special about a woman in the Torah, you better take it seriously. And it talked about Miriam being Puah, and her mother basically saving the babies in Mitzrayim. And as a result of that, the mother Yocheved earned the worthiness to have the lineage for the Aaronic priesthood, and Miriam earned the lineage of the Mashiach and King David through her son Hur and so forth. And this can be even read about in the Talmud. So I thought I'd put Miriam and Eliyahu together, since Miriam really was probably the first to really earn this special privilege of being in the line for Mashiach. ילדים, אם טובי מובילה, בריקוד ושירה. מרים, מרים, בזכותה לנו מים חיים, עם משה דוד המלך, בזכותה לנו גאולה. מרים, מרים, בזכותה לנו מים חיים, עם משה דוד המלך, בזכותה לנו גאולה. Thank you, Miriam.
Thank you so much. The boys in the band, Reb Jack, Reb Micah, who else is playing in this? In these moments, Reb Ilan, it could be you too.
Could be on YouTube.
So you dear friends just come and set up as you like, as you need.
Yeah, I say do it.
Okay, so. Okay, who here needs to stand up for a moment? Okay, let me ask you to stand up for a moment. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I just think that people have been sitting and enjoying themselves way too much. It's more important to stand up and feel tiredness. You know? I'm gonna start with a song you don't know, so don't play. And it goes like this. Look at this microphone. Oh, we call this a Cialis microphone. Oh, worse than Viagra. The Cialis microphone. May they not learn for a long time, Zizka. She said, some of the young ones don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. So, I'm going to do a little quick thing because once upon a time, there was a king named Shloime and a daddy named David. And David was this incredible, incredible songwriter. 150 psalms are attributed to him. He's good at psalms. And we don't know if he actually wrote those, right, Arthur? What do you think he actually wrote? 11? 16, Epis. He wrote Epis. So, and then after him, he had his son Shloime. And Shloime, not wanting to tread on Daddy's stuff, he didn't write per se psalms. He wrote Shir HaShirim. Love, L-U-V, love. So, so I realize that every 1,000 years, somebody really masterful comes along. And the last one like that, in the world of music, I would say Solomon Rossi. Anybody know the music of Solomon Rossi? Was it 14th century, 15th century, yeah? It's kind of at the bridge between Baroque and Renaissance music, Solomon Rossi. Say what? You know, I'm left-handed. So, for Simon Michael, forgive me. Thank you for the kiss too. All right, so, why am I saying this? Oh no, I know why. The reason I'm saying this is because after Solomon Rossi, it started picking up again around the turn of the last century, you know? Yiddish theater, Yiddish musicals, people like to think Shneur La Perla, that comes out of that period, I don't know, 1910, 1911, 1922, something in there, Epis that was written. So I just want to do something that combines, I'm just going to do a piece of it, something that combines the writing of Shir HaShirim with the writing of Tehillim. And it has the most strange title of the song. It goes like this, let's see. That's it. Okay, Kia V. Oh, you were a writer. No, they're not playing. I'll play. Everybody's playing ukuleles. I'm going to bring my instrument. I want to replace the ukulele with this. What's nice about it is you can't really mess up somebody else's string. If you have like a tambourine, oi, can you make trouble? But a shaker, you know, it just gets jazzier. By the way, speaking of jazz, I have a slight digression. It goes like this. I know. It goes like this. I had the great zchus of talking to Reb Zalman, Olav Shalom, Zichron Levracha, Zecher Tzadik Levracha, and I was like talking to him, I said, you know what? You're really a rock star. And he quickly responds, says, I'm a jazz singer. His response was so quick and accurate, it was profound. Like he actually had thought about this, I think. Either that or his brain cells were super fast. Right, okay. So, I'm going to sing maybe without that change. Look at this. All right? Think of Shlomo, think of David. Love minus zero, no limit. My love, she speaks like silence, with no ideals of violence. She don't have to say she's faithful. Yes, she's true like ice, like fire. People carry roses, make promises by the hour. My love, she's like some flower, Valentine's can't buy her. In the dime stores and bus stations, people speak of situations. Read books, repeat quotations, write the conclusions on the wall. Shadows made of matchsticks tumble into one another. My love, she does not bother. She knows too much to argue or to judge. The bridge at midnight trembles. The country doctor rambles. In ceremonies of the horsemen, even the pawn must hold a grudge. The night howls like a hammer. The night goes raining. My love is like a raven at my window with a broken wing. Hey, may Bob at Bob La Hoya Kebab. That's what Marlon was doing. Okay. blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I'd like to introduce the band. On percussion, flute, and elegance, we have Rav Bracha. Woo! And on keyboards, we have a person who's half Bach and half man. Alan Bachman. This gentleman I knew when he was studying at the RRC, and he put out a CD then called Walking Humbly. He's got he's holding his guitar, and his son is holding the guitar too. Mandolin, okay, because son's about this high. Daughter, see? I know. And the name. See, I talk too much. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. It begins with a B. Micah, there it is. Micah Becker Klein. And right over here, a man of infinite smiles, a man of delight, a man who now lives right next to Music City, Nashville, TN.
Memphis.
See, I almost got that right. Memphis, with Beale Street and Alice. With Beale Street and Alice, Elon Glazer, right? Thank you. And my name is Paul Revere, and I'm waiting for the Republicans to leave. I'm Paul Revere. I'm telling people the Republicans are coming. Open the door, let me fall through. It's so special just to be here at the Cabaret with all of you. I'm so glad that I made it so we could share a song or two, yes, and let the light of love shine through. I'm saying you can make your day brighter, and then nobody can take it away. Yeah. You can make your day lighter, shed the light upon your way, shed the light upon your way. Oh, you can make your day brighter, there ain't nobody can take it away. You can make your day lighter, shed the light upon your way, shed the light upon your way. All right, Micah, here we go. Woo! Share the light, share the light, share the light. This is a song for King David. He wrote things 3,000 years ago. He wrote them down in Hebrew. If he were here, you know, he'd rock it so. If he were here, you know, he'd let you know. He'd say, what would he say? He'd say, Or Zaruala Tzadi, Uli Shvele Simcha, Or Zaruala Tzadi, Uli Shvele Simcha, Uli Shvele Simcha. You can make your day brighter, and then nobody can take it away. You make your day brighter. There ain't nobody can take that away. You can make your day lighter. Shed the light upon your way. Shed the light upon your way. Shed the light upon your way. Help us. Shed the light upon your way. 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 I forgot to give Backman a solo. Keep playing. It's a very, very, very poor taste thing to do. After all, he's Meister Boogie Woogie. When he plays the melody, it just comes through. When he plays, the melody comes right through. Come on, Backman. What's his name? From that band? Not Elvis. From that band, Peter Townsend, kicking over. All right.
The Who.
Oh, you're all so young. Who? Got it. Shema Yisrael, Yah Eloheinu, Yah Echad. Shema Yisrael. Shem kivod malchuto le'olam vo'ed. Baruch Shem kivod malchuto le'olam vo'ed. Dear holy friends, God, our God, our God, our God, God that is one to one to one. Dear holy friends, many traditions, many traditions, 6,000 religions on this earth, dear holy friends. One to one to one. Okay, Micah. Come down off your throne, leave your body alone. Somebody holds the key. You are the reason I have waited for so long. Somebody must change, and I'm near the end, and I just can't find or spend the time, you know. I'm so wasted and I can't find my way home. Na 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 na, na 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 na. Yes, on the beautiful flute, Rav Bracha. Yeah, just a little more than that. I don't know any rabbis who can really solo like this lovely woman, right? I think it's Australia, right? Or South Africa, right? Or New Zealand. See, my memory is actually getting better as I get older. And we have Alan Manbach, who's playing the piano. Beautiful, beautiful. And Micah Klein-Becker, thank you so much. And Glazer Ilan, thank you. And my name, as you probably know, is Neville Chamberlain. You should never really move away from the script. The moment you do that, you're sorry, man. Please forgive me, that only came out of my unconscious of someone who I don't like. Okay. But I like me pretty much. So I'm going to do this song. Yes, this is in honor of Louise Hay. And one time, in a time of my life when I really needed to affirm things, I took these words of hers and I actually sang them in the Beit Kodesh. Reb Tirtz was kind enough to kind of stick me in last minute in something in Yom Kippur. I forget exactly, maybe near Unetana Tokef, but just kind of stuck me in there. And I had just written it, so it's a nice song for us to end on because we're going to be dancing afterwards. Oh, you can do it. She can do her eyebrows separately. I think she needs a raise. Who knows that congregation? Send her money. Okay. Someone I really love. I am gentle with myself. That's nice. I am kind to myself. Yeah, answer. Kind to myself. I treat myself as I would someone I really love. Oh, say shalom. Oh, say shalom. Shalom Aleinu, Shalom Aleinu. Oh, Shalom, oh, Shalom. Roma, oh, Yaseh. Shalom Aleinu. When I look out at the world and I see all the Armageddon, I think to myself, what does it take to change? Perhaps a change of heart, perhaps a change of muscle, perhaps a change of gender to leave this world. Oh, say shalom, in the Roma. Oh, yeah, say shalom aleinu, shalom aleinu. Oh, say shalom, in the Roma. Oh, yeah, say as I look around this room, I see the punams of joy, punams of joy. I know peace will come just by looking around this room. We're a tiny microcosm, and others are like us, so have faith, do your deed, see what comes through. Oh, say shalom, oh, say shalom, in the Roma, oh, yeah, say shalom aleinu, shalom aleinu. Oh, say shalom, in the Roma, oh, yeah, say shalom aleinu, 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 shalom aleinu. Thank you, Cindy, for organizing the night so beautifully. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi Jack.